But let's shift focus and talk about pharmaceuticals. It's really been a stellar year for IPOs, and one amongst them was Gland Pharma. So let's welcome on board Srinivas Sadu. He's the MD and CEO at Gland Pharma, joining in the show right now. Srinivas, hi, good morning. Good to have you on the show. The markets have clearly given you a great welcome. With the big re-rating that has happened. Start by telling us more about the opportunity that you foresee within the injectable space, and how scalable is it for the next few years?
Thank you so much for having me here. Yes, it's been a stellar opening for us, and we're glad that the investors have understood the fundamentals of the company and they believed in the company. From our perspective, we always focus on the business. We are focused on injectables for like 40 years now. And if you look at the generic market itself, which we're focused in, US itself, about $40 billion worth of injectables are off patent. And next 5 years, almost $60 billion products are going off patent. That way, there's a lot of opportunity for us. While we have a large scale and we focus a lot on quality, there's a lot more to do in this space. And we continue to grow like what we've been doing over the years. That's what we are looking at.
Sure. Whenever we scan through reports or speak with investors as well about Gland Pharma, they always say that, you have superior compliance setup versus other listed players. Help us understand what really differentiates you from the other listed players within the same space.
Well, I can't comment on the other players, but what we always believed is in this pharma space, especially injectables being a sterile space, quality is a key component of it. Historically and culturally, we believed in that. And if you look at even the way we run things, 1:2 in terms of production to quality, in terms of manpower, that's where we focus. And also our business model also helps because we are a B2B company, unlike a lot of other B2C players. So we work with a lot of multinationals across the globe. Their quality folks also audit on a regular basis. That kind of also help us in a way, because if you look at last couple of years on an ongoing basis, we almost have 25, 30 inspections done by the international organizations. So I think it's a mix of our culture, the way we run our things, the experience of handling only sterile products because we are focused in that, and the help we also get from the multinational whom we have these business arrangements with. I think the combination of all that, we continue to, have this compliance level since we started supplying to the US since 2003.
Right. Good morning. Nikunj Dalmia also joining in. The business which you represent is the B2B business, the injectable business.
That's correct.
Your historical growth rate between the last reported data of last 4 years is north of 20%. Given that you are in a B2B business and you represent an area like injectable, where some would argue that pricing volatility is there, will you be able to maintain a historical growth rate of 20% plus?
Although I can't pinpoint on a number, but if you see the number of molecules what were launched through our partners in the US, the market addressability is only about $8 billion, right? And like I said, almost $44 billion worth of generic injectables are there in the US itself. Now, if you look at the global worldwide market, it's almost $130 billion in generic space. And after US, second largest is the China market, which is about $40 billion. So what we have touched upon is a very small portion of the entire business, what we have. And we continue to launch products in the US. And there's also geographic growth, what we're looking at. If you see last 3 years, not just US, we're also going in other markets. So there's a lot more to do. And, we believe that we can grow the same way like what we've been doing since last 4 or 5 years. And like I said, we have the infrastructure to supply, and we have an R&D team which continuously churn out products which we are filing and launching products in different markets.
How do you see the future of injectable business moving, given that now there is a massive re-rating which has happened to companies like Pfizer and AstraZeneca because of the COVID vaccine? Have you played any role? Would you be playing any role, first in what's happening on the vaccine world?
I mean, this is the buzzword now going on. And if you see the demand for the COVID vaccine, even if every injectable company manufactures, still, I think there's a dearth. And, we are in active discussions with companies on the vaccine side. Probably, we'll be hearing something in the next few years. There are active discussions going on. Although we've never been into vaccine manufacturing, but I think, like I said, everybody has to pitch in somehow. So that the vaccine can reach out to the required patients across the globe. And I think not just Gland, most of the injectable players are coming forward in this. And I think we'll also try to play an active role in this.
Capability to, in a sense, be part of the vaccine supply chain. One is willingness, second is capability, because capability is something which is the immediate requirement. I'm sure a company like yours has the ability to eventually do it, but do you have the capability to hit the ground running right now?
Yeah, so, there are two aspects to it, right? One is the development, the other is just the manufacturing. And we are, from the vaccine front, we're going to play a role probably on the manufacturing side. Our plants are designed, vaccine requires a dedicated line, and our plants are designed to dedicate lines specific to a requirement. And we have injectable plant where we can dedicate a line. So in that way, we are capable enough to do a manufacturing of it, and that's what we're focusing on.
Active negotiations with any of the vaccine companies in case they want to outsource their production capability to you?
Yes, that's what I said. So we are actively discussing with companies for manufacturing in India. And for Indian market specifically initially, and then probably if the capacities permit to rest of the world markets as well. So we are in active discussions, and of course, the various companies are in different stages of clinical trials for the vaccines, and we have enough time to launch these products.
Total capacity to produce in case you get a third-party contract? I mean, how many vaccine, virals or how many vaccine doses you can produce on a monthly basis?
So, it all depends on how many lines you have to dedicate. And as of now, we can dedicate 1 or 2 lines, and each line for a 2 ml vaccine, that's what we're hearing about. We can produce about 40 million units per line. And I think initially we might start off, dedicating 40 million vials production for this business.
All right. Okay, talking about really, where you continue to see, growth coming in going forward. We've spoken about injectables, of course, but, in terms of key markets, the growth drivers, as you are preparing for going forward, even in terms of the kind of margin picture that you're looking at, we have already seen the company ensure slightly better margins than some of the others. Just talk to us a little bit about how you see that evolving.
Yeah, so, there's a combination of two things what we do to keep our margin profile up, right? We'll always be in a bottom line focused company. And when you're launching more products in the US and the products are getting older, getting into that time of the life cycle, then the margins get squeezed. So we give a lot of importance for the older products. If you look at last 3 years of our products, the older products were also generating a lot of growth. While the new products were generating about 8 to 10% growth, the older products were also generating growth. And we're able to keep intact the margins because what we call as a life cycle management of the older products. We do several things to keep those margins up, because we have the massive infrastructure. So we do several things on the older products where we change the components, we change the API sources. And, we being a China parentage, we also get that access to different APIs from that region so that you can have a better margin profile. And also geographic growth also very increasing. So while the US is a major focus for us, we are also launching products which have a better margin in other markets as well. So that's one of the reasons you see a growth in coming from other markets. Like I said, China is the second largest market. We have filed a few products in this year, more products we're going to file next few years. And those are also high margin profile products, what we're looking in China. So while focus is in US and launching new products, growing the older products, doing a lot of things to get your margins up for the older products. We are also focusing on markets where we have better margin profile products to get launched. And China will be the second largest market, I would say, for next 4 to 5 years for us.
Okay, amazing. And while US continues to be the key market, analysts are saying that growth has been quite broad-based for Gland. Just talk to us about really, the kind of opportunities that you see going forward as well. And while injectables may remain the mainstay, of course, how you really see your position vis-a-vis some of the others staying a step ahead.
Yeah, so injectables is a little complex compared to other dosage forms, and I think that's what is keeping us ahead of others. Various delivery formats. We're always launching new delivery formats ahead of other people because we are in this space focused on injectables. And if you look at the margin profiles for all the new delivery formats also high. While we speak, we are already investing into pens and cartridges kind of a product profile, and that kind of help, that kind of keep us ahead of other companies. And like I said, the geographic growth is a focus area. We have launched several products in Canada. We are launching products in Europe. We have launched products in Australia, and we are leveraging the dossiers and products what we got approval in the US to other markets as well. And I mentioned about China. They have a fast track mechanism through which you can take US FDA approved products to that market. And that's what we're doing now. So that will be a fast growing market using this. So while we leverage the products, what we've already filed in the US, we have over 200 ANDAs approved in the US. And we're taking those products to other markets where we can leverage the data straight away. And also creating a portfolio specific to some markets where we think the margins are higher. I think that's what we're trying to focus now. And that's why you see a larger growth in other markets also. While the base is very high in US, so the percentage wise, you may not see a high, but I think absolute number wise, we are growing pretty steadfast in other markets as well.
Thanks, Mr. Sadu. Great talking with you in detail this morning and getting an understanding of all that's progressing at Gland Pharma. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.